Welcome to Big Guy Podcast, episode 4. Today we have a very special guest, Mr. McAfee.
Thank you. Thank you.
Could you tell us about funny childhood stories? This is a classic.
Oh, man. I will say this. I was really accident prone as a kid, and one of the funnier stories that I remember, we had a birthday party over at a friend's house, and there's probably 10 or 15 of us on this deck, and we're all just visiting, having a good time, sitting on this one side, and then as we're all joking and laughing, the back of the seat breaks off. There's like a 4 to 6 foot drop off behind it, and everybody's just bailing off backwards, falling. Well, as I'm sitting there, this girl reaches out, grabs my waist, and you think this would be a great time for me to play hero, right? I strip her fingers off my waist and let her fall. And she fell back on top of everybody else. So at least she didn't get hurt. She had a softer landing. Like I said, really accident prone. I remember getting to the river one time, and I was like so excited to go swimming. I just take off running as I go off the top where the river goes down and just kind of drops off a little bit. I thought I could make the jump. Well, basically I overestimated my abilities, and I planted my face into the gravel bar, but it was funny.
Yeah.
But other than that, there's been a lot of accidental things that happen like that.
Well, the next question is, tell us about your job, like favorite parts, what made you want to do it, stuff like that.
Well, when I got out of high school, technology hadn't really taken off yet, and it was kind of not really even a thought. But as I got farther along, I kind of found there's this interest in technology, and so I started taking some classes, and then finished up my degree in technology, with a bachelor's degree in computer sciences, and I started subbing at Mountain View Elementary. Some subbing positions came out, and so I started subbing, and then a friend of mine who was the technology aide at the school, he was moving on, so he asked me if I'd be interested in taking the spot, and he thought I could set up an interview and everything. I said, yeah. So that part, the rest is history. I became technology aide at the elementary, and then was there for a few years, and in the last 7 years, I think I've been doing it full-time for the whole district.
Oh, yeah.
So
I think I remember you at the elementary.
yeah. Now, you guys would have been, I would have had several of you guys in the elementary. I think you were in BT Elementary, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And, man, that is the part of my job that I love the most, is helping you kids get older, especially seeing something like this, an interest in technology.
Yeah.
It just is amazing. I really appreciate this, guys. This is awesome.
So, okay, if someone were trying to get to your job position, what kind of education would they need?
Well, education is very important.
Yeah.
Experience is very important. So if you started out getting an associate's degree in technology, working part-time, getting some experience, and then go on and fulfill your 4-year bachelor's.
Yeah.
Education is very important. You want to know what you're getting into, but the biggest thing is experience.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of things that whenever I took over this job, I'd seen in books and videos, but until you experience it, until you're sitting in a room with no internet and everybody's just kind of, like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? You don't know, because there's so many things are run through your head, and things you just want to try, but through experience, you're able to limit those things down and try and maybe fix the problem a little quicker.
Yeah.
So, like, speaking of experience, like, what do you think the hardest thing you've ever had to, like, fix is?
Oh, man. Anything Apple. Because their security protocols are just crazy tight, and I tell you the hardest thing, and I'll give you 2 stories on this. the first time I experienced it, and I don't know if you know what a loopback is in technology terms, in a network setting. Well, a network setting, a loopback is where the network is plugged back into itself.
Yep.
So like you have your internet comes to a switch, and then that switch goes to a computer. Well, let's say you run a wire from that switch back to that switch. You're creating a loopback, which just grinds the network to a halt. So first time I had that happen, I had no idea. So I start from the basics. I would just unhook switches and to get to the point where things were working properly. Once I got to that point, then I was able to figure out which switch was causing the problem.
Yep.
And then I could bring that switch back online and figure out, start going to classrooms and unplugging computers and wires and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, I remember this has been probably 5 years ago, before school started. Everything's working fine. Where teachers are in, they're setting up stuff and just having a good day. Things are going well. And then I talked to one of the teachers, and they said they were hooking their stuff up. And I'm like, all right, good for you. You know, I do promote that. I really promote people trying to work on their stuff. I think it's fun for them to learn.
For sure.
So I'm walking along through, I get a call from the superintendent, Dr. C. He said, hey, is the internet down? I'm like, no, it's fine, just a little bit ago. And then I made a couple calls to our provider to see if anything weird was going on. And they said no. And immediately my mind starts working, because it's like it goes from working fine to not working at all.
Yeah.
So I made another phone call, asked them if they could see anything from their end. They said no, and it says real weird, it's kind of intermittent, like it'll come up and go down. I was like, sounds like a loopback, doesn't it? And they said yeah. My mind instantly went to that person who was hooking up their stuff. So I went in there, and they just happened to have, they got 2 plugs on the wall outlet.
Yeah.
So they'd hooked up to their phone. When they went back their phone to that other outlet, that other plug,
Yeah.
there's your loop back. I unplugged it, immediately started working fine.
Yep.
But that's where experience came into play. I could kind of tell by some of the behavior of the network that's what was going on.
You were talking earlier about Apple. Like, do you have a favorite technology company?
Yeah, for phone.
Or not even just for
Well,
phone?
yeah, like
Well,
for computer and phone.
Phone, Apple. I mean, I just was
Yeah.
crushing them just a second ago, but actually Apple, I love they're very proprietary in their software,
Yeah.
but man, their stuff works pretty seamlessly.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. You guys like Apple?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
I have iPhone. Yes.
Oh,
I was thinking, so they have like this new like feature on the 14. I haven't really seen it or tested it out, but it can like tell you where a satellite is, and you can like aim your phone at the satellite, and it'll like connect like that. What are your thoughts on that?
I wish I could have had that 15, 20, 25 years ago when I was doing satellite stuff.
Yeah.
That would make it a lot easier, but I love that we have these advancements, but sometimes they come with a price.
Yeah, sure.
And I don't want to see that. I don't want to be this like gloom and doom kind of guy that just foresees all this negative coming from it. But just people, we have to understand that there are going to be a certain subset of people that will take advantage of these advances, and they'll try to use them for bad things. But at the same time, all the things that are easier now because of these options, like this iPhone, man, it's like everything you need in a computer is in your hand. You know?
Yeah.
You're out on the road. You're like, hey, how do I get to so and so's house?
Yeah.
Google Apps or Google Maps or iPhone, Apple Maps. And don't get me started on music. That's the greatest thing.
Apple, Spotify. It's annoying that like you can't like buy Spotify subscription through their app on iPhone. Because Apple takes a cut, So that's why it's unfortunate, but I haven't used Apple Music. I'm a Spotify person. But
see, I have Amazon Music, which is just because we have Amazon Prime, and it was easy jump from there. But man, when I was younger, we used to have tape cassettes, cassette tapes, and then we would you'd play them on your Walkman and stuff. But how you would get those mixed tapes? I don't know if you've seen videos or not, because they'll have these videos sometimes, some reels on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, you'll have your cassette player with the record button pushed and pause, and you're listening to the radio, and then you'll hear your favorite song's coming up in 15 minutes. So you're like hanging by your tape cassette, and then it's like click pause, got the song, and then record a bunch of songs and carry it around with you.
So speaking of like the internet and satellites and everything, how do you feel about the new Elon Musk Wi-Fi Starlink?
Yeah, I love it. I really, really, really love this. We all live in the nature out here, very far away from larger cities, and the ability to have that kind of technology. I love the fact that Starlink is here. Gives you one more option.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, I wish Google, or not Google, but I'll tell you what we did here. I wish we could step up like Show Me Power has done with the fiber side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I first started, we had really limited internet at the elementaries. Mm-hmm. There was, when I say T1 line, it was a 1.5 meg line, which is very, very limited copper line. At Burster, we had one of them. At Mountain View Elementary, I think, had two, actually. And the one at Burst Street would not get full capacity at all, which copper, I mean, without getting too technical, copper will only carry like 80% of the information. Like fiber will carry 100%. Well, I asked them how long or how much money it would cost to run fiber to Burst Street Elementary, because they had the worst setup. It's going to cost $100,000 to go from Highway 60, well, somewhere in Burst Street where fiber was run into, to the school.
Wow.
So, fast forward a few years later, I'm getting ready to step into this position, and I heard about this initiative from Show Me Power and Morenet. Well, Morenet, we have this thing called E-rate, where the government pays for a certain amount, like a free and reduced group, you know, like your lunch students, or your students that have lunch, free and reduced lunches. We qualify for 80%. So Show Me Power was running the fiber line, Morenet was taking care of the cost on that, and we would pay Morenet. 80% of that cost, we only had to pay $20,000 to have a fiber line run to Mountain View Elementary, Burst Elementary here, and then it would all be connected through a VLAN.
It's crazy.
And now we're all on the same network, which we didn't used to be.
It's crazy.
But for like $20,000.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
I love, and then the Starlink just gives, you know, like people that live way out past the edges of where phone lines will go.
Yeah.
There's another option.
It does. Because I was talking to someone that I'm close friends with, and they recently switched from the CenturyLink over to Starlink, and they were running tests, and I think this new Starlink was almost 100 times faster.
Wow.
Than their CenturyLink was.
You're talking
Insane.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're talking like some of these phone lines, copper lines that have been running way out there. They're way past their point of, you know, they're just gonna be degraded by the time they get there. So, that's awesome. I love it.
What do you think about the controversy that's happening? Ukraine is using Starlink, and then Russia is threatening to shoot down the satellites.
Yeah, that's a crazy situation over there.
Yeah, it is.
Those things are so hard to discuss because we're talking about a government, with Russia that's really unpredictable.
Yeah.
And they would not surprise me to see them try to shoot those things down, those satellites down. And I don't know. I think it's just, it will come back. It will kind of bite them in the end if they do stuff like that, because they're almost in essence cutting off their nose to spite their face, sort of a situation. They're going to take these satellites out, which could help provide them with internet.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And depending on how the war goes over there, because depending on what stories you read, is Russia not really succeeding in this? It may be kind of coming back to haunt them a little bit. We've made this effort to try to cripple Ukraine.
It's almost crippling them too.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's kind of switch the ball a little bit here.
No.
Let's go
So you
to-
guys got me with the serious stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's turn the pace a little bit. Let's go to some football.
Oh, absolutely.
So, okay, Tom Brady. How are you feeling about that?
Okay, I gotta be honest with you guys. I'm a Peyton Manning guy, so my Tom Brady moments are pretty rough.
I was actually asked to ask you about that.
Oh.
About Peyton Manning.
So yeah, Peyton Manning, also known as Five Head.
Yep.
Yeah, because he's got such a big forehead. You know, man, Peyton Manning is a great quarterback. He just happened to come into the same time period that Tom Brady came into.
For sure.
And Tom Brady he's the GOAT right now. Do I foresee Pat Mahomes overtaking him?
Overtaking it?
I do in some ways,
Yeah.
because, and I'm going to get called an old timer for this. Things are different nowadays.
They are.
Yeah.
Defenses are not allowed to do as much, and offenses are just crazy good. They're
Yep.
doing all these different schemes and stuff. It's
Trick plays and
yeah. And plus, Pat Mahomes he makes amazing plays out of nothing.
he does.
Yeah.
He's a playmaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looking at some scores, the Bucks are currently 3-5. So
You think the divorce is affecting Mr. Brady?
I don't know if it's
the
the divorce or if it's just he's done. If his age is catching up.
Well, the old saying is Father Time is undefeated.
It's true.
So at some point he's not gonna be the same Tom Brady that he once was. I mean,
It's true.
as much as your mind works, it's like watching Peyton Manning those last couple of years. He was always hurt, and it was frustrating because you know his mind was seeing the plays, his body just wasn't responding.
Yeah.
So
Have you? Okay, switching a little bit again.
okay.
I'm on YouTube and stuff watching videos. There's been a lot of commercials with actually LeBron James and the Father Time. Have you seen those?
I have not. I separate myself from LeBron James.
They're actually pretty funny. It's a Nike commercial, but they bring up LeBron actually like working out or playing one-on-one against Father Time, and he's still winning and still trucking.
He's not better than Michael Jordan, so how can
He's-
he be
he's
Father
not.
Time? I will say this though. I mean, I am happy for him to be able to be that successful. You know, the older he gets.
Yeah.
Because I've in my own like workouts and stuff, I always told myself just be better than you were the day before.
Yeah.
So like my results came back. We had some blood work done and stuff at the school at the beginning of the year. I was actually healthier this year than I was last year. So if you can just continue to make improvements and try to work through this stuff, yeah. Oh,
Great positive mindset though.
yeah.
I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You wanna do Liberty?
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on Liberty football?
Oh, absolutely the best.
Yeah.
Coach K and I go way back. I actually went to high school with Coach K,
Oh.
and I've known him for several years. I know Coach Holland, I know Coach French, Jansen, Ackland, Joey. I'm trying to think of the other coaches on there. If I'm missing anybody, I apologize. Doug. And
Good old special teams coach.
yeah, look out. They always have our teams prepared to
yes.
play, and they're really successful.
Mm-hmm.
And kids have great attitudes. Some, you know, I'm friends with several other kids on the team, and they're always respectful, always really nice, easy to talk to.
Yep.
And the coaches always answer questions when you ask them, even though sometimes I may seem a little silly, like just asking some of the questions I ask, but they're really good people.
There, for sure. It's also Coach K's retirement year.
I seen that. That's but he's earned it.
Yeah,
He's been around for
yeah.
a while, and he's earned it. So
Kind of sad to see him go though.
I am, but at the same time, I'm happy for his next stage of life.
It's true. He has
100%.
grandchildren now, and
Yeah, absolutely. And no telling, he's gonna be able to travel more. And
oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
I know Coach K loves to travel.
put those miles on his side by side.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just gonna miss those days of him being at the elementary, coaching up the little kids.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, those were funny days.
I had a funny story actually. So, Coach Spittler used to be the health teacher, right?
Mhm.
And it was like we were always like, me and a bunch of other people, we were always talking whenever she was getting in, and like, we were just like, pretty rowdy class. Then, you know, first semester's over, second semester after Christmas break, first day back, it was Coach K. The whole classroom was silent. And me and Wyatt were just like thinking to ourselves, like, if Coach Bittler was here, we would not be this quiet.
No.
I thought that was funny.
Oh, well, I'll be honest with you. The coaches in general at the school, I think, are awesome. I think, you know, Coach Toon does a great job with the volleyball team. Coach Lee's doing a great job with the basketball team. Coach Ernst with the girls' basketball team. You know, Coach Hedden.
Yeah.
Coach Ackland K with, you know.
Our volleyball team went pretty far this year.
Yeah, they did. They're always really solid. Like, Coach Toon has them prepared really well.
100%.
You know, tennis team, I like. You know, that was one of the highlights of my. It was coaching tennis last year.
Tennis team, yeah.
I loved that last year. It did help having Ken Woolsey.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, when you have an all-state type tennis player on the team, yeah, it was fun. Coach Daniels and I, otherwise known as Mr. Daniels, the principal.
Yeah.
We went together because like it was one of those we didn't know like if I could be there that night or if he could be there, so we wanted to split the duties if we had to.
For sure.
And I mean, it's something we're kind of thinking about with golf this year, maybe if things work out. And we're still in the process of trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
And this year, taking over the golf coach.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was kind of leaning to on that is like it's not 100%, but there's a lot of thought that Coach, you know, Mr. Daniels and I might be doing the same thing with golf. And
With golf.
golf is my sport. It's my jam.
I was actually thinking about joining this year.
You should.
Yeah.
Look, I love teaching the game of golf. I love tennis. I hadn't played in a long time, but it brought back a lot of memories, and I kind of was able to get my game back a little bit.
For sure.
Golf is one of those sports I play every day. I like this last several weeks. I've been at the golf course at the Indian Eden, just practicing, trying to get myself better. And
Oh yeah.
Anyway, I kind of want to bring this back to Liberty football real quick. So, what are your thoughts? Like, so Stratford beat Ava, so we're going to be going against Stratford this Friday.
you know, we're playing Stratford here, and I'll be honest with you. If we play, you know, in flat football is one of those crazy things. You know, it's like if we play like we're capable of, and Stratford comes with their good game, I still think we're 2 to 3 touchdowns better than they are.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, even if Mountain Grove beats Houston this week,
I think
We still, our
they
JV
have
still had
chances.
time.
yeah,
Our JV still had time in that Mountain Grove game, so.
Oh yeah, and that's you look back at the last few weeks, it's just been get to like Salem, what was it, 53-0 at halftime?
Yep. And then
Oh,
the
yeah.
JV the rest of the game.
Well, a little funny story about that. I didn't go to the game, but I did kind of watch some of it on Salem's YouTube channel, and they had that coach's show afterwards, and they were talking about the scores, and the announcer was like, it was 53-0, and Liberty tried to score again. So I felt that was a little unnecessary, and I'm like, I bet when you guys were beating us back in the 90s, 72-0, you weren't saying that
No,
same
yeah,
thing.
for sure.
So some of those teams made me feel a little good to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But honestly, I think we make it through districts.
Think so?
I think fairly easy. I don't want to, coaches will obviously tell you it's going to be a struggle because that's what coaches do.
Yeah.
But I think we make it through fairly easy.
Yeah.
And
Then we got regional,
Yeah. Then you got, quarterfinals.
Seneca, maybe.
Seneca, yeah, because
Forsyth.
Forsyth, yeah.
well, it's going to be Seneca. I don't know how the districts lay out and who our next district, but
If Seneca wins their districts and we win,
Mhm.
we're going to be against Seneca.
I do want to give a shout out to a certain young man that's sitting over here for taking PR in his all-state
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
cross country. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of the sports, it's kind of like tennis and golf that don't get talked a lot about.
No, it
but
doesn't.
That's awesome.
Especially with only one high school member this year.
Are you the only one? Right?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
He's
Next
saying he's
year.
gonna join next
Yep.
year.
Next year, have a little friendly competition.
There you go.
Yep.
I could get behind you in a car and chase it.
Yeah.
Run faster. Man.
Yeah. And then we'll have my little brother, so he's gonna blow both of
Yeah,
us
he's
out
got
of the
just
water.
Enoch is good.
But
Oh.
that little booger's fast. He can run.
Well, if you ever want to feel good about your running, I'll run with you. And you guys will feel really, really good about yourself at that point.
Yeah.
Great questions, guys. I'm really impressed. This is awesome.
Well, we have one more.
I haven't
topic.
asked this one.
Nah.
I haven't asked the question in a long time.
Okay,
so-
you can go
Good.
for it.
The calves. What is your workouts for the good old calves?
Well, I will.
Iconic.
My legs
It's right
have always been this size, even when I was in junior high.
Yeah.
I could hip sled 1,200 pounds as a seventh grader, but I could not bench press 100 pounds.
Oh wow.
I was like
Wow.
120 pounds, tiny guy. Back then I could run. I couldn't go over 3 miles, but I could run 3 miles, 19 minutes, something like that. So I was.
That's good.
But now, I will give you guys a secret to like defining calves though. It was from the P90X original workout.
My dad has those.
Oh, those things are crazy. But when you do your regular set of calf raises, you are squared to the you're just squared up with your feet. So whenever you'll do your set of them, and I usually do them with weights, dumbbells, and then I turn my toes in and I do another set of calf raises, works a different set of muscles, and then I'll turn them out and work another separate set of muscles. But
Now,
those usually do the trick when you're trying to tighten up the calf muscles.
did you know that Arnold Schwarzenegger himself actually trained calves 6 days a week?
Really?
He did. When he was at his prime, he would train them 6 days a week, and they still were not as good as yours.
Well, I don't know about that, but I do appreciate that. That's I tell you honestly, guys, and this I'm gonna get a little serious on you. One of the best ways to handle depression and anger and stuff is to work out.
For
Yes,
sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Because there's some science behind this. I know your body produces a chemical, and I don't want to embarrass myself and try to remember what that is and get it just wrong. But your body produces a chemical that will help you become less depressed, be happier. It burns off all the negative stuff, and man, I'm telling you, working out is the way to go.
It is.
I work out 3 days a week. Mr. Channing across the road and Mr. Daniels will join me. We'll do
Oh yeah, I remember in the summer, after like the coronavirus, 8th grade,
Mhm.
that stuff. I had a PE in the summer so I could get that PE credit going, and I remember seeing you guys work out every day.
Yeah,
Well, not every day, but like
Well, yeah,
most of the time.
most of the time we would work out. Now, I will say this funny story about working out. Wade married Coach Wade to some of you guys.
Coach Wade, yeah.
It was him and my son Jordan were on a team, and Mr. Channing and I were on another team because we'd always do partner workouts, and we worked out a lot at Coach Wade's house. Had these tires we'd drag, we'd flip, lift,
Oh, yeah.
everything. Just a lot of really hard exercises. Coach Wade can be pretty sadistic in his workouts.
For sure. I've seen that man work
Oh
out.
man. So
His
Go ahead.
legs after plyo box days.
yeah, he couldn't even walk.
No, he couldn't.
So Mr. Channing and I we're beating those guys. Well, I think Coach Wade gets tired of losing, so he changes it up. So he comes up with a workout called 5K Friday.
Okay.
And we take the rowing machine, which you guys know what a rowing machine
Yes.
is, take it down there and to the football field. So we have to go, each team has to do a 5K in rowing and a 5K in running.
Wow.
So you're talking about the old guy, I was 45, 44, and these guys, the other guys, like my son wasn't a runner yet, but he was young, so he still had good lung capacity and he could get around stuff, but yeah, he targeted the old man on that one, and I took an L on that competition,
Did you finish?
barely.
You
Literally.
finished.
so.
You
I
finished. That's what
finished.
matters.
I think I was walking or crawling in, but
Yeah.
I finished. It was a rough one, but I should have paid somebody to done
Yeah.
that workout for me.
You were talking about chemical that your brain produces, Sorry, I was stuck on that. I'm gonna throw a guess. Dopamine. That's what my guess is.
Very good. I believe you're correct. Because like I was going, melatonin. No, that's not right.
No,
That's the
that's
stuff.
sleep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the stuff that helps you sleep. And don't you get that from the sun too, melatonin? Or serotonin? See, this is where this is where I was gonna get really crazy and start mixing up my science. Unfortunately, science was not my favorite subject growing up.
It's not mine either.
It's alright.
Math is my favorite, like by far.
100% agree.
I'm a math guy. And then social studies. I love history.
I was always English after math.
Oh, see, English.
English was just.
Yeah, it was down there where science was.
I was always math, English, and then I would probably go history then science.
Oh, man. How can you go anywhere in the future if you don't know where you've been?
That's
Yeah,
true.
history's my
That
favorite.
is
I think
true.
I'm like more of math. I'd say science and history are kind of close for second, and then English is just horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody asked me, it's going to be true confessional here, how many books did I read throughout my entire school career? 3.
3.
I only read what I had to do to
Yeah.
make a book report, and we used to write those out, you know, and I would read just 3 books. That was it. My entire time, they were Bristleface, Sputter, and those are 2 books about dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I take that back, maybe I only read 2. Because I can't remember the 3rd one. I have read more books
Yeah.
since I've been out of school.
Reading gives you a lot of information.
Yeah, but too much when it's in small print.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like to read. It's just like I don't like to read what the school wants me to read.
That's
That makes
true.
sense.
There are a lot of benefits for reading.
What was it this comedian said about his teacher was trying to convince him to read a book, and she was like, "You need to read this book, Jaws." He said, "I've seen the movie." She goes, "The book's way better." He goes, "Oh yeah, way better than special effects and all that stuff." Yeah, I get to see a 20-foot shark eat people, you know.
That's so much better.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll lose some of it in translation in the book, but yeah, that's. I am not a. I hate to admit that while working in a school, but I am.
Yeah.
I'm not a book person. No.
I remember freshman year you have to read Animal Farm.
I did not read
And
that
so,
book. I'm
I'm not gonna lie. So I haven't read it at all, but I'm like, okay, it's the last day to read it. Air test tomorrow. It's 11 p.m. I was supposed to go to bed at 9. Strict parents.
Gotcha.
Get a flashlight and just read the whole book in like 40 minutes. I'm not gonna lie to
Wow, that's impressive.
you. Yeah,
It's
it's
like
like
100
100%. I was happy.
You say strict parents. I call that a good bedtime right now. I go to bed at 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Oh yeah,
so
I go to bed at 10. But yeah.
I love, cause like the older I've gotten, maybe it's something with being older. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
like I
The
get up.
earlier you get up.
Yeah, well, I don't even like getting up that early anymore, but I just like, I know if I gotta be here at 5:30 to work out, I wanna go to bed at 8:30.
Yep.
Yeah.
But back to your book thing.
Well, Animal Farm, to be fair, is a short book.
Animal
Well-
Farm is a short book.
You said what, 100 pages?
So I don't know.
It's-
It's pretty close to that.
You should be able to read in an hour.
Oh,
I
gotcha,
guarantee that.
man. Well, let me ask you guys some questions. You guys have got to get into the, I'm just, into the technology stuff here. I feel like I'm gonna interview you guys for just a second here.
Okay.
Alright.
What do you guys think about I'm gonna call them improvements that we've made here at the high school and the elementaries and the middle school? What do you guys think? Do you think we've improved things from where they were?
Oh yes, 100%.
Yeah. Freshman year to now, there's a big difference.
Big difference. I remember 8th grade, the internet was iffy, I would say, to the least.
Yeah.
And then in 9th grade, we made a big jump, like getting everybody Chromebooks.
Oh, yeah.
The internet was
But
fantastic.
we also had
Yeah.
our Corona year that year,
Yeah.
so we were only here for like half a year, and then it was.
Well, I think some of the changes that we did, we ran fiber cabling through the hallways to
Yeah.
these switches and the main switches, and each classroom now has its own access point, so that does help. And I love to hear the feedback from you guys about what you think and how it's working. And I mean, I know Chromebooks, these Chromebooks especially, are not high level gaming.
Well, yeah.
They're there for educational purposes. You
They
guys-
get the job done.
Yeah.
But you guys like what we got going on here and stuff. That's good. I'm glad. Man.
It's not impossible to game on them either.
As a tech guy, I didn't hear that, but
Yeah.
yeah, I understand. I would be that kid back in high school. I was pretty annoying.
Like,
So I would be like, how can I get around this?
yeah.
I heard you've had some freshmen trying to get around your Go Guardian.
Oh, I've had a lot of kids try to get around everything. This has been going on. Look, I don't take this personal at all. I think this is the way it's supposed to go. We set these things up, kids will try to get around it, we figure it out, we block them, they find new ways to, it's just like a never-ending cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of fun playing a little bit. You
I
know?
think it's like great, like they're critical thinking, like, you know, how do I work around this? I feel like problem solving is kind of involved. Then again, it is for a bad reason.
But it is a problem solving. It's like, and this goes back to, well, I'll tell you a quick story on a great experience, not experience for me, but something I'd read about this guy. Back in the 90s, they had these free-to-air satellites. They were small satellites that would have, you get whatever free channels were out there. Well, this guy would hack like dishnet cards, and in dishnet cards, they were very, very, very tough to hack. They had 7 layers of microchips, very thin microchips, but in between each layer, they had a silicone separation of like a barrier of silicone. But if you messed up the silicone, it would mess up the chips.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy would have this machine, it would take the silicone off, and then he would deprogram, or he'd figure out a way to hack the programming in those chips. He'd get those, and he'd send up these things called bin files, which you probably all know what bin files are, being technology. They're just files with information.
Yeah.
And they help program firmware on certain things. And this bin file would go to program the firmware on these free-to-air satellites. Well, then you get all the programming on satellite, on dishnet. We're talking, when I say everything, use your imagination, everything.
All right.
So, and every channel. So, this guy, he was in the process of doing this one day. He got busted. FBI come in, caught him.
Wow.
So, they gave him options. Because, actually, I said DishNet. He was DirecTV he was doing that with. Because DishNet, they didn't change their protocols until after that happened. But they come in, bust him. They told him he's going to have like 10 years in prison, like so many $1 million fine, or he could serve as R&D, research and development on anti-hacking measures on DirecTV. DirecTV was never hacked after that.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, we are running very low on time,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up.
Guys, I appreciate it. I really
Yeah,
do. Thank you.
This has been a really good episode, I think.
I think it's been a great episode.
Yes,
It's been
guys.
Big Guy Podcast, episode 4. Catch you next time.